of accusations, death threats,
use deadly force,
sexual misdeeds.
Mom on a regular basis.
This is a story of Isom. No, not the International School of Ministry, but the comic by Eric July. Watch the first skirmish of the comics war tonight on Sifting Through the Trash with your host, JJ Trujillo. After Ethan Van Sciver says that Dick Masterson's criticism was good.
I think a lot of those notes were accurate. I read it. I might be the only one here who actually read the book when I got it. Why didn't anybody read this?
Eric explodes.
You know, I heard you talking, Ethan, about this whole like this guy in his review or criticism was excellent. That's bullshit. We read through it ourselves. It's not excellent. It was literal lies built within it. There's one thing to be critical of something, and I'm perfectly fine with that. You've never seen me jump down anybody's throat for saying, "Hey,
well, what you're saying,
for example, hold on."
And later texts Ethan, saying that him validating some of Dick's writing criticism is weak, and implies Ethan as amplifying negative narratives, and declares he will now do that to him in turn. Ethan still defends Eric when Riley showed up at his warehouse, but that didn't seem to make amends.
A couple of things. First of all, if anybody wants to meet Eric July, the place to meet him is not at his warehouse for a couple of reasons. One, it's inappropriate for people to go to his place of work to go hassle him. And two, he's not even there. He barely goes there. He has 15 employees, and from what I understand, and they're there all the time packing books.
Despite Ethan's attempts to be friendly, Eric decided he still needed to go to war. Let's go back to December 23rd of 2023. What were you doing back then? Perhaps you were preparing your Christmas feast, traveling with your family, or buying gifts for your loved ones? Eric was busy recording this 16-minute video about how he can take criticism but doesn't want to.
It's bizarre. Narratives, though, man, there's something else. Just yapping and saying things with the sole intent of getting others to believe it, no matter how verifiably false it is. Eric needs to learn to take criticism. Then you conflate criticism with hate and project and act as if, again, I'm the one that's doing that. And ultimately, you can't take criticism means he doesn't give people with bad intentions the time of day. Or you're being upset that I won't acknowledge you and publicly worship your every word.
This video also mentions an unnamed person. Who might that be? It's someone in the indie comic sphere he once trusted, even though others warned him not to.
I've learned a lot recently, and I'll be critical of myself. I was very naive despite being warned repeatedly. I gave a person or two the benefit of the doubt, and it got me burned.
He then goes on to say that this unnamed indie creator wasn't as humble as him, and was unhappy to see Eric succeed.
If someone is an indie and they have more success than I ever did, good for them. Hell, I'll try to pick up some game and learn from them. I was wrong to assume that, again, everybody felt the same way. They saw the Rippaverse as a problem, and they've made it a mission to try to take me down a peg. Narcissism is a problem, and envy is a dirty son of a gun.
This same indie comic creator said that he was glad Eric was taking some of the heat off of his shoulders.
I should have known something was up when people would say that they were glad the vitriol was being levied at me, because it seemed to get enemies off of their backs. And that sort of explains why some...
Why are you angry about that? I meant that with love. I can't believe that. When I used to say that to him, I could see in his face would get darkened. I don't mean the complexion. I mean he'd get I don't think that's funny. I'd say, Eric, I'm so glad you're here because now some of these nitwits can abuse you instead of me. Nah. And a normal person would go, well, it's just the way it is. That's what happens when you're successful. I'd see Eric get mad at that. And he really is mad. I stopped saying that. I said that to him maybe twice, because I thought it was a friendly kind of jest. But I could see that he wasn't taking it the right way, the way that I meant it. And I was like, I won't be saying that anymore. And I was like, I wonder if that bothered him. It did bother him. Holy shit. Oh my God.
Eric is mad that this unnamed comic pro who had his phone number and was on speaking terms didn't just call him, and instead aired out some grievance out in public.
All those wondering as it pertains to the product of the Rippaverse, not once have I been contacted privately by these supposed allies that claim they're just trying to help me and just want me to make $1 billion, yet all they do is make everything a public matter. I have been contacted by people that actually want me to be great. They just actually pick up the phone or fire direct messages, and they're very thorough and helpful. Somehow they can figure it out, but I guess other people can't.
Eric believed Ethan was amplifying negative narratives about him, and was threatening to do that to Ethan. It sounds like Eric was upset that Ethan aired that out to the public, as this may have hurt Eric's image. But maybe he shouldn't have sent Ethan that text, or apologized for having sent it.
He strawmanned my position and said a bunch of things about me without even saying my name. But everybody knows he's talking about me. And if he isn't talking about me, that's extremely irresponsible, because then everybody's thinking he's talking about other people. So other people, innocent people, have to absorb that abuse.
Declaring war with an unnamed individual could be very risky, as you may accidentally declare war on multiple people at once. But from the context of the things that Eric said, it seems to me it's very clear that Eric was talking about Ethan. And as we know, Eric has a tendency of accusing people of things and walking that back later, something he did with Dick and Vito. Another important event to note is that Eric jabs Ethan with a comment about late books.
Your books aren't being delivered. Your products, things you promised your audience, they're not being delivered because you're taking your sweet time to make sure typos and art errors are resolved. That has nothing to do with it. It's because you lack the discipline to complete the product. There's also time mismanagement.
Ethan responds by mentioning this.
Because you're taking your sweet time to make sure typos and art errors are resolved. That has nothing to do with it.
Believe it or not, it does. And once again, I will say that quality is important. Quality control is vital. Putting out books that are embarrassing messes, that are filled with cheap artwork from Brazilian labor camps, that use SketchUp and the 3D assets, I'd rather just not. How about if you just don't ship that stuff? How about if you don't have to? The thing about it is Eric could sell absolutely anything. It doesn't have to be comic books. For some reason, he decided it needed to be comic books because he wanted to compete with Marvel and DC, and then he forgot his mission statement was quality.
Less than a week later, John Malin and some of Ethan's friends would make a similar allusion.
John Malin says, you will produce. How many pages, John, in a week do people need to produce?
22 pages a week.
22 pages a week.
That's tough.
Yeah.
That's too much.
With
Actually,
or without 3D assets in clip art.
Got to speed it up. Yeah, use some models. Use some 3D models, guys. Trace over them. Let's make.
And don't waste any time doing.
That's why Eric was saying the art
Great
side was
again.
so easy. The art side's so easy for Eric because he was just fucking downloading everything.
Yeah. Don't waste any time.
It's
proofing.
art, man. Art's easy. Yeah, because you're just fucking thumbing
Oh
through
my God,
fucking
dude.
SketchUp warehouse. Fucking
Yeah, I know.
scumbag.
It's 2024. Cave dwellers, come on.
So what are you saying? What is 2024? How is that relevant to what we're discussing?
Get
What
on
is
that SketchUp. Get on those AI models.
SketchUp?
Make them books. Make them comics. The hard
Yeah.
part is business, guys.
Business
Right, the business.
is where is the hard part.
Creativity is easy when you got the tools.
What are the tools? Brazilians?
AI, Brazilian,
AI, yeah.
SketchUp.
Ethan didn't harp much on 3D assets at this time, but perhaps he was flexing a secret weapon, and in a few weeks it would become his trump card, and one of Eric's biggest controversies. Eric was unaware.
What has been the response to rumors that the art in Isom, not from his hand, but from a program like Turbo Squid?
Yeah, it's a lot of it's been interesting to see people float around some just really untrue stuff. And look,
and continued on a warpath, but not just against large creators like Ethan Van Sciver, but even against small accounts too. You're going to see how Eric July, a creator with over 500,000 followers, sicked his fans on a small indie creator for offering a disagreement in an unrelated thread.